All right, well, hello and welcome back as we are getting ready for our first game of the night, and we're hoping it's a banger. Give me just one moment to make sure that the info is sent out, and then we will be getting ready for this one. In this game, we are going to have the Hanoi Hydras up against the Chicago Inferno. Again, hoping it's a good game. I mean, you can look at the record, see it's 7-0 versus 6-1, and then you can look at their placements, see it's first versus second, both quite reassuring. Then you can see as oh boy, I gotta remake the lobby. My bad, I forgot something. Okay, cool. I had to remake because I put bots on earlier and I didn't take them off. But now they're off, so we're good. So hopefully we'll get everyone into this one. As you can see, both also, well, I mean, a much tougher game left to go for Hanoi as they play Lincoln, who are sitting in third currently, while Chicago have Havana, which should be a little easier. Moving over to our weekly schedule, you can see 4 of the games down, 3 of them played, and 2 game 5s. No sweeps yet, so hoping we keep that trend up, and we'll find out. Moving to our standings then, you could see Lincoln smashed right in the middle of these two, waiting to see where they go depending on the result of this game. That they will either be in second or third. Then we have New York and Calgary tied, 1 game above Santa Carla, who are 1 game above the next 4, who are waiting to try to get that spot, other than Havana, because kind of as I predicted, when I went through and looked at the 9 possible ways that the playoff picture can shake out, none of them allow Havana to get through, and so therefore they are eliminated, or rather locked to the play-in. Look at our clinched teams. Again, not quite in the order of the standings, as Calgary and New York have switched, and then Lincoln are currently sitting in the middle. But there you go, 5 spots down, 1 left to go. Down to our scenarios. I'll talk about them a little bit, and then I'll make sure we get our stuff, because this is already set for next week. And so, of course, we got 4 teams with a chance to make it, and so we'll circle back on these after we have talked about the stats. Talking about those stats, though, your key players are Halio and Hallow, and the averages are 5-1 in favor of Hanoi, with saves being the exception. Looking at the team stats, or rather the individual player stats, we have a tie between Halio and Tumos on goals. Shot percentage also going to Latumos, and then assists over to Lemon. While for Chicago, it's a tie instead between Hallow and Wico on shot percentage. Then assists and demos also going to Wico, and Zach tied on demos. There you have it. So, I think fairly safe to say, gotta favor Hanoi here. They have been the team they are, as I mentioned in the Discord message, that this team has played 7 games. They have swept 6 of them. And so I think it's safe to say that they will be especially a favorite against any team probably below 4th. And then even when you get above 4th, we got to see them lose. And so I think this could be a closer game. I'm going to go with 3-1. But, you know, as we are just waiting on one of our teams to get in here, we trust they will. And so we will just be pausing for one moment. So, yeah, I'm thinking just 3-1 Hanoi, just because I need to favor the Hydras. Really just can't go otherwise. But I'm believing in Chicago. Now, again, I think this is a big playstyle matchup. Because, I mean, you can look at it. Hanoi are leading pretty much every stat. And that's a lot of stat padding against lower teams, especially with your goals and assists there. But at the same time, they have just been a very dominant team. They have just crushed teams that they take advantage of mistakes. They just, force themselves forward. And it's important to draw a distinction between them and Calgary. Because Calgary operate on pressure and just, pressure, use that to get opportunities, score the good opportunity when you get it. Meanwhile, this team, they have really fast mechanical players, and they'll go more just straight for the outplay. And we have seen overcommits from them. That's probably the main fault we have seen in the games that are closer. But this is a team that just throws it all forward. Not to try to develop pressure, but just because, honestly, they can. And so I'm interested to see now against a team on Chicago that, look at the number of saves Hallow has. And then also looking at it, Zach also has more than all of Hanoi. And he hasn't spent all of his season on this team, but still, they all have really high save totals, and 4.9 saves per game is an incredible amount. That this team certainly will pressure you and will get it downfield, but they are very willing to kind of camp farther back, take advantage of the fact that you're just going to let them save some half-baked shots, and then they'll clear it downfield and punish you. And so I'm interested to see where the balance lands. That we're going to have Chicago likely kind of more willing to sit back, take a bit of pressure, and then try to force it downfield and counter. And then we're going to have Hanoi probably just trying to out-pressure them, take advantage of them sitting back, maybe get some demos to open things up, and then just score. And so, again, I'm favoring Hanoi. I want to say 3-1 just because I think it could be closer. But I absolutely think, playstyle-wise, Hanoi are more likely to just obliterate this series. That if Chicago aren't playing well around how Hanoi are going to play them, they could just get trapped and just kind of stuck. That they play a little bit of defense, and then they can't do anything except defense. And eventually they're going to get scored on, and there's nothing they can do about it. So that's going to be the question. How well can Chicago defend Hanoi's pressure? And then can they manage to get it out and get goals on the board as a punishment? And of course, we could also see Chicago try to pace it up. I just worry, again, Hallow certainly can do that. I worry about Wico and Zach trying to keep up with Halio, who's one of, if not the fastest players we have. And then Latumos, who's also in that conversation as a very fast, very quick player. And so I just think if both teams try to play full speed, Hanoi probably win. And so it's going to come down to how well can Chicago absorb that pressure and get the counters to get themselves in this game. And yeah, there you go. That's where this matchup lies. And again, because this game is first versus second, it does not impact the playoff picture. So why don't we go back and talk about these scenarios a little bit and see how things will play out next week. Now, if you want to go in terms of teams being most likely to clinch, then the answer is Santa Carla first. Out of the 9 scenarios, they get in directly out of 4 and have a very good chance in a fifth. Then it'll probably be Miami, who get through in 2 scenarios. Then Arcadia, who have 2 and a part. And then Steinhatchee, who have a part. They're not very likely. As, by the way, I didn't even notice how close that got, by the way. Like, that's insane. And so, again, we'll talk about these more in depth next week. But, yeah, it's rough for Steinhatchee. They are incredibly unlikely to make it through, honestly, because they need a win and 2 teams to lose. They need a win, 2 teams to lose, 1 team to win, and then they need to have the best game diff. But we'll focus on that later, like I said, because for now we got some Rocket League to watch. I always forget to up the volume, but we'll get that eventually as we have the Hydras in blue, the Inferno in orange. Again, I think a hot start would benefit Chicago because I think, especially in the minds of Hanoi, they are incredibly confident in this game, and so you want to kind of put a dent in that confidence. If you can put up the first goal of the series, obviously it's not just going to win you the game, but it kind of slows them down maybe, makes them reset and go, okay, now we need to score. Instead of if they score, then it's easy, and then they're rolling. As this one's up in the air by LA2, reset forward, just wide. Wico tries to turn around, but there's no one in net. And there's goal number 1. Wiko left alone without boost, tries to leave. I don't know if he could have got there anyway. But certainly not going to get it done, and so Hanoi will start off with first blood in this series. Hallow now trying to pop it up. Halio wins the race back to it. Wiko now slams it downfield, but plenty of time as Halio's already there. Now looking for a double. He'll get it down towards the corner. LA2 also dove, but Zach will get demoed, and that'll kind of continue the pressure as Hallow just about gets back in time for that one. Wiko trying to pop it away. This one drops down. Now it's Hallow downfield. Halio across again. Zach in the air, drops it down. Lemon will pop it away. Hallow going next. This one off the corner. Lemon trying to bring it down. Does get away from him a little bit, but that's a good follow-up 50. Now Zach downfield. That skips off LA2. Could have just been in, but Lemon's playing deep enough. Dropping down towards Wiko. He'll take control, looking for a 50, but LA2 wins it out. Certainly has been a lot of Hanoi pressure so far. And this is another reason Chicago don't want to give up that first goal. Because we're seeing Hanoi have a lot of pressure, but hold on! It's Zach! And it's a tie game! Hallow gets the pop out off the backboard. Zach smashes it straight down. And this game is tied. As I was saying, we were seeing that Hanoi were getting a lot of pressure, and yet they were willing to sit quite far back because they didn't need to score. They just needed to make sure that their opponents really couldn't. And so if they force them back and yet play deep enough to not give up a counter, then there aren't that many options. And it was working, but now that Chicago are on the board, it's switched completely. Zach beats them all. 50 by 1 in the air. Fakes it around 2 more. 2 in a row for Zach, 2 in a row for Chicago, and the Inferno have the lead. And so they will fight back. They will not go down quietly. And now we get to see what the game looks like when it's Chicago with the lead, as it's Zach again, but this time Lemon's able to dive across. LA2, a bit of a missed jump there. Now has to leave it, but Hallow's there. Lemon's alone, but it's off the post. Very close to dropping through, but not quite on target. Unfortunately for Hanoi, that will keep it a 1-goal game. Hallow on it again, though. 2 resets the fake down, and Lemon's playing the ground well. Able to fake it by Halio there was Hallow, but that's why you have a multi-pronged defense. The next option was just waiting patiently enough. Lemon another even 50 here. It'll be LA2 to pick it up. Kind of low on boost, though, and Zach will get a good 50 off of him. Halio on it next, forcing it down to the corner. Low boost, but Wiko, big clear. No one is even in frame. It's 3-1. Lemon so far upfield. LA2 is in the opposing... honestly, I don't know where LA2 spawned from. Like, I'm very confused. Halio's on the sidewall. I see Lemon driving towards the play to challenge, but then when it gets cleared away, LA2 is also on the near side of the field. So I don't know where they all were, but that was way too big of an overcommit. As Halio tries to play this one away, LA2 over to the side. Hallow off the left wall, now played around again. This one dunked back out. Wiko pops it up. LA2 trying to leave it, but Wiko's just going to put more pressure on. Goes for a back pass, but no one's able to dive. Hallow last back. Will get a good 50. Looking to follow it up. Will block out Lemon as well. Won't get the boost, but that works as a back pass towards Wiko. Wiko will get beat. Everyone leaving it, though. Zach will get there. Lemon, half a tank. Gets a piece of it. Bouncing out again, though. No one's there except Hallow. 1 minute to go. As soon as Chicago scored, they have taken over this game completely. Still a push here, though, for Hanoi, and they'll get one back. 3-2. It's a 1-goal game. It's a good double out there by LA2. Lemon hits the bar, but Halio gets a clean read. And so Hanoi pull closer. Zach, though, another chance. Low boost won't get the 50 through. Wiko trying to dive, misreads it. Hallow does not. 4-2. The lead's back up. It centers back down. A bump by Zach leaves Halio rendered completely unable to save it. And so off the kickoff, the Inferno get their response. Now down the sideline again. Halio drops it down. Zach trying to center it. Lemon getting it away. He'll end up with control. Low boost. A good flick over Wiko. Halio gets beat as well. LA2 the center, but the third man got bumped and no one's there. Now they need to rush back. Low boost on Lemon. Fortunately, it's wide. And fortunately, Wiko misses the follow. Halio now alone, but he makes the play in the 2v1. Zach now getting it downfield again. That could have been another goal for Chicago. They couldn't get the shot, but they did well to save it. And there's just not time. Zach fakes that one down, but it's stuck in the blue half. Time is running to 0 in Chicago. Strike first. They will take the first game. And honestly, this scoreboard, shocking to me. As Halio manages to be the most impactful player on the field, and yet really just ends up bottom of the scoreboard. If anything, that speaks to how well his team played at the same time. Because he was doing so much, and yet it's Zach that gets 2 goals. Wiko also getting a goal. And so all of Chicago stepped up in this game, and they took down Hanoi in game 1. And honestly, I feel like it's hard to understate the impact of Halio. Again, obviously we saw Zach solo outplay them all. Zach getting 6 shots. Like, everyone mattered. Chicago wouldn't have won how they did if one of them wasn't showing up. But at the same time, we saw Halio beating them to the ball. And again, this is a team that have dominated lower teams in part because they can just play so fast and out pressure so hard. And so when we have Halio surviving those 1v2s and beating them to the ball, then suddenly they're a lot more awkward. They're making more mistakes. They're getting more desperate. And that's opening up the window that Chicago then break out because they're trying to just get it downfield, win the race to the ball, don't give their opponent any room. But Halio is demanding room, and they can't do anything about it. And so for Hanoi, I think, as we are waiting on 2 players, I don't know, one of them said they needed to restart, and is. I don't know where the other one is. So hopefully we'll get them back in here soon. But, I mean, really just a perfect game there by Chicago. Obviously, gave up the 2 goals, but they put up 4 on their own. And allow me to look at the ball chasing just to see just where that shot ratio ended up. As we're going to have it be in favor of Chicago, 12-5. Lemon was the only player, which, by the way, this is a little confusing, as we are loading in. Game number 2 now underway. Chicago 1 game to the better, but 1 game is not the series in a best of 5 as Halio gets good control of this one. Going for the reset. Won't get back to it, though, as Halio dunks it away. Halio won't get a piece of that one. It will be Lemon up. I mean, as, by the way, Pitt, I believe it was Vice described to me that that is not a gentleman's sweep. Losing game 1 and then winning the rest, but I don't know, man. As LA2 clears this one away. Yeah, no, we're not, but as Halio, I don't know if that was intentional. Maybe trying to put it around the defender, maybe looking for a teammate. Either way, puts it way wide of the net, and it won't go through as Wiko's up again, but that one goes wide. Honestly, it makes more sense to me. Well, I guess I could see either. Either losing game 3 or losing game 1 being a gentleman's sweep. I don't know. Either way, we got gameplay underway here, but as I was saying, as this game started, Lemon is the only member of Hanoi with shots, which, first of all, that shows kind of how shut down Halio and LA2 were, that they couldn't get anything on the net. But second of all, okay, sure. I hadn't heard the term before. So I picked it up because everyone was saying it. And then, fair. That's fair. As Hallow, though, must-see double. It'll be wide, trying to set it up for Zach. And it ends up with Wiko, but LA2 another save. The point I was trying to get to with that Lemon being the only one shooting is Hallow had a goal. He got that one read off the crossbar that I guess he hit it so close to the net already that it didn't give him a shot for it, which is really funny. As Hallow again just beating the defense, but a good demo there by Lemon. As I said in the pregame, I think demos would do a lot of work for Hanoi. Of course, I was expecting Chicago to get forced into more defense, and so when they're downfield, it won't have quite as much of an impact, but it could offset the rotations for Chicago, leading Hanoi to have more room to get into their pressure. As Lemon gets a good dunk there. Wiko already on it. Starting to run low on boost. We'll have to leave this off, but Hallow's there to pick it up. Now popped off the sidewall. Hallio's ready for it. Clears it downfield. LA2 in the air. Drops it down. LA2 with the angle. We saw him floating. I didn't believe in that as holy. Sneaks it down behind Zach. And that's a big goal for Hanoi as they get the first goal of the game. Half the game left to go here. LA2 trying to pass it out. He'll follow it himself. Zach wins the 50, but Lemon's playing back far enough to dive in for a save. Zach now a high pop. Awkward for Wiko. Hallio's on it first. Hallow now trying to catch it. He'll get bumped. There's the aggression trying to take form. As Hallow sends it downfield, Wiko will chase it down. Lemon left alone, but gets it down the middle of the field. He'll follow it up. He'll get it to the back wall. He's looking for a read. Hallow gets a save. It might have been on target. We'll never know. Wiko now trying to play it down. Hallow over to the right side where Lemon's waiting, and he'll go again. Dropping it down. Hallow plays it back. LA2 in the air now, still following it up. Low boost for Hallow. He'll be the one to jump in here. He'll get a save. Lemon's there. It's wide. And this time Hallow can't double it in as it instead goes wide. Wiko now pop over LA2 as well, but Hallow is already rotated back. Lemon gets beat. Even 50. Zach will try to play it. He'll go off the back wall. He'll double it in front. Cleared out right at Hallow. His shot's high. Where's the follow? Cut off by Hallow. 85 seconds left to go. Wiko kills the 50, but LA2 is still on it. He'll pop up over one more. Hallow gets a piece of it, but Lemon's racing in. He'll win a 50 to keep it close. Wiko now pull shot into a clear. LA2 misreads it, but plenty of time for Hallow. His touch tries to set up Lemon. Hallow's there. Is it in? Off the bar and through. One to one. It's an overcommit again by Hanoi. Hallow gets the dunk. And we are all tied up with 1 minute left to go. I mean, that's fair. Pitt, I had not heard the term until 8-bit. I just heard Spaceman Sweep. And then everyone has been saying it. So it's like, okay, cool, I guess. As LA2, that's going the wrong way. It was off target, then was cleared to the side by Lemon. Now a double commit leaves Lemon alone. Hallow around the corner. Can't get back to it, and Lemon will get the clear away. Hallow now. Redirect just high of the net. Awkward touch by Wiko. He might need more. It's popped over him for now. Hallow trying to jump in. Knocks it down, but it's right over to Hallow. Hallow now banging it towards the back wall. There's a demo and a pass in front, but Hallow's there to catch it away. Now a 150, but a lost one to follow it up. Zach trying to get it away. Just holding possession high above his net. LA2 dunks it back across. Hallow away again. Lemon there. That shot wide and sent further so by Zach. 50 high. Time expiring. Hanoi trying to suffocate the Inferno. This one up towards the ceiling. Hallow guiding it out to the corner. Lemon shoots it across, but it finds the grass. Overtime in game number 2, and it could be just what Chicago needed because that game was starting to look really scary. As time expired, now it's Hallow alone, but Wiko side flips. If he had a shot, he loses the chance as Hallow dives in, goes even on the 50, and Wiko's already under it. Now flick downfield again. LA2 off the back wall. Lemon, a good double. Zach not expecting the follow-up, and honestly neither was I, but that just adds to how effective it is. As Hallow, good reset over one, and a flick, but Lemon's able to get back in time. This one's pinched across. Hallow trying to find LA2. Up in the air, over one. Lemon to his left with half a tank of boost. He'll try to go himself, catch by Wiko. Hallow though, a good 50. Zach now trying to pick it up, maybe a bit heavy on the first touch as Lemon is able to take control and he'll pass it over to LA2. Off the corner, no double, and Hallow will send it downfield. Lemon now popping it up, does get over Hallow. Everyone in the air for Chicago. It'll be Zach to get a good touch, but it's easily saved away by Hallow. He'll now flick by one. Wiko needs a play and has one, and it's Zach for the counter. Match point, Chicago. LA2 lost at the midfield. Too slow to go, and Zach makes him pay. A much better game for Hanoi, but it doesn't matter. They still get outshot 10-9, and they still lose the game in OT. This time, Hallow stepping up. We pointed out last game how he was probably most impactful in the lobby, but lowest on his team's scoreboard. This time, he's shining, double his teammate's score, setting all the way up at 770, while next is Zach on 330. Honestly, no, Pitt. This is what can happen. I mean, look, was it 2 weeks ago? It was more than that, but look at it against Lincoln. Same thing happened. And you can say it's an off game for the team they're against, but this team just makes it hard to play the game. And Pitt, I counter you by saying that's their play style. Like, that's literally what it is. As I said, Chicago are a team that'll accept the pressure and then can just kind of dish it back. And at this point, we see Hanoi shine and pass and all that when they are dominating a team, but Chicago simply aren't letting them do that. And so I don't say Hanoi are choking at all. I'm sure post-game they'll say it's a rough game, but I just think this is what a clicking Chicago looks like. As this one's played out, Hallow's there. There's goal number one. Chicago take the lead. First blood. And, I mean, you can counter it again. That's a strength of Calgary. They play together in order to get the pressure. And so they're much more able to dominate a team even if a solo play isn't working, because they just clear it downfield and then all dive at it, all get the read and look for the passes, etc., etc. They don't need the solo plays. They don't need as much flair. And so that plus the fact that Chicago didn't look good against Calgary add together to give you that result. But this is what Chicago can do, and it's just not working. Hallow tries to possess it. He goes across his goal line, and Wiko dunks it right through him. I mean, it's a tough one for Hallow to play, but he doesn't stay behind it well enough. And Chicago, I will say, I mean, they do have one series that wasn't a sweep, but yeah, generally, as that one popped up high by LA2. Off the corner again. The team who has had the lead in this game, or in this series, has been the team to pressure. That it feels like early game, and once Hanoi have the lead, they're willing to just send people at it, get pressure, and then try to play safe enough to not concede. Meanwhile, when Chicago have the lead, it feels like Hanoi are just lost. As this one's dropped down, now played back out to the corner again. Bouncing away, Hallow in the air, looking for a reset, but it's great defending there by Halio. Problem is, it was a double commit. Zach off the corner. Halio, no boost, can't make the play. Wiko will recenter, but now Lemon has time. He'll get a clear. Flick up to LA2, beat by Hallow. Now dropping down again. Zach the dunk. It's on. It's in. 3-0. Chicago. It is a 3-goal lead. It is a shutout. And Hanoi just look lost in this game. As, by the way, I will reiterate, if Chicago win this game, they have control over the #1 seed. They are guaranteed, I believe. Yeah, they're guaranteed to be top 2. So they're guaranteed to play against a play-in team. And they play Havana next week. And this one played across, dropping back down. Meanwhile, next week, Hanoi play up against Lincoln. Winner of that game will get top 2, likely second, assuming Chicago win. But before we talk about that, this game's not quite over. 3 goals, well, 3 minutes played, 2 left to go. And it's 1 back on a clean ceiling shot there by Halio. No, they have 3. This is their 4th. That's their 4th of the series. They played it pretty close overall. It was 4-2 in game 1. It was 2-1 in the last game. It's so far 3-1 in this one. They've gotten offense. The problem is Chicago have just gotten more. Yeah, this is their 4th goal. As LA2 trying to flick it forward, but Hallow just 50s right by him. Lemon able to keep it close in the corner, but the problem is it's just in the corner, and Wiko's able to send it long downfield. Wiko now around the outside, missed by LA2, but Halio's there to back him up. Now Hallow around the outside. That one cleared away. Halio pops it up, and now it's stuck in their half. He has to use so much more boost. Zach is there to keep it in. It's more time burnt away by the Inferno. As it's off the left side. Hallow trying to drop it down. As Zach trying to play it away. Now Hallow back down. Wiko down into the corner, looking for another play. Halio waiting under it. Hallow leaving it. As now Lemon gets it down the sideline again. Hallow ends up with control. It's down off the ceiling. Player was diving in, but beat away by Wiko. 35 seconds left to go. Hanoi starting to run against the clock. And this one is off the back wall again. Hallow pops it up. Zach another play in. Low boost on Halio. Wiko will dive through. Now off the corner again. So Hanoi do repel that attack, but they can't get a clear. They can't get possession, and they can't get a chance in this game. The best way to kill a Hydra is with fire, and the Inferno are burning bright. Although, hold on again. 5 seconds left to go. Lemon gets a big shot here. And it's a 1-goal game. It's possible here. We'll see how the kickoff goes. It's won by Hanoi. Lemon diving in. Halio there, but it's wide. The Inferno scorch the Hydras. They leave 0 undefeated teams in the 8-bit league. And they take control of the Prism League. And there you have it. Every team across Pixel and Prism has lost. Lemon's confidence is broken as Hanoi just fall flat against the pressure put on by Chicago. Again, we'll see what Hanoi say. I would be surprised if they don't claim, say, whatever you want to, whichever direction you want to frame it. I'll be a bit surprised if they don't say they played bad. But at the same time, I genuinely think they just got very countered. And that is how it went. Like, that's how it goes. As we've said, Hanoi are probably the strongest 3 in the league, but Chicago play a very good playstyle that we've seen has worked well against both Lincoln and Hanoi, and just puts them in a great position. But either way, we are going to have an interview, and so we will be back in just one moment. And we are back with Chicago. A sweep in the other direction for Hanoi. How's it feel?
That was not at all what I was expecting, like
Yeah,
in the slightest.
that
That
was pretty awkward.
The Hydras have been dominant all season, and Lemon, love you Lemon, but we beat you.
Hmm.
I say we, Zach and Hollow beat you. I did not do anything.
You
I
were
botted out in
involved.
the
You
entire
were
series.
there.
I did one thing.
I mean,
I did a couple things.
as I said after the first game, it felt like Hallow was kind of the main piece of the team, but there were plays in each of these games that they probably wouldn't have been won without all 3 of you. And
I mean, yeah, Hollow carried us this series. That was for sure.
yeah,
Dude's a demon.
I mean, Hanoi have the pace. Hallow answered that pace. So
Yeah.
I do have to ask though. Obviously, you guys know after that Calgary series that off days happen and can lead to results. But you've now swept both Hanoi and Lincoln, 2 of the other top 3 teams. Why do you think you have been so dominant against both teams?
Um, Kind of going back to what you said earlier in the stream, like at the start about the control. Chugs are basically a team that's full of control. If they can control the ball and like go at the pace they want, that was a pace that I'm not quite able to keep up with yet. Um, and I don't know, it's got off day in general for the team, but we will see. I think it just had to do with the control though. They were a very controlling team.
Fair enough. And then with that, why have you guys been able to sweep both Lincoln and Hanoi, do you think?
Well, I think we caught you guys on a off week. Like you
Fair.
guys kind of had a bad week against us. I think that match is closer than this. Hanoi, I have no idea. This Hollow's a demon. He just kind of did his thing, and we played around him, and it worked.
Mm.
And I have started grinding threes again, so I'm trying to get back in rotations.
That'll help. Yeah, and then of course we have a classic from Kellen asking, who do you guys think is the main threat going forward?
Probably still Chugs.
Yeah,
Fair.
about the
Going into playoffs and or play. Well, I guess not playing for us technically, but playoffs definitely the Chugs.
I mean, when you're likely to end.
Obviously,
All you.
Hydras had. I think Hydras also had kind of a bad week. It kind of looked like Latimos and Halio were not playing to their full, but I don't know. We will see. But I still think Chugs are probably the main threat for us going ahead.
Fair. I mean, I was just gonna say when you're likely to end the season 8-1, it's fair to say that that one is probably the main threat. But yeah, I mean, it. I don't know. Just was there a change in these games? Did it feel like Hanoi? I don't know how to phrase this because the games were pretty consistent. I guess I can say you probably weren't expecting it to be as one-sided as it was, and so when they scored first, what was the mentality for you guys then?
I said I'm sorry. I just bought it out because I turned for boost when the ball rolled in front of our net, and then we just bounced back, and we're just like lock in, bounce back, and we did.
Fair.
You're talking about like I'm assuming you're talking about game one when
Yeah,
like I think it was Halio just boomed the ball to the corner, and I decided to go for boost rather than try to hit the ball.
that did
Yeah, that
happen.
was.
And like I
I
said,
just bought it out.
I don't know if you could have got there, but I think you could have at least made it look better than it was.
Oh no, dude, the boost was more important. I needed that 100 boost to prevent the ball from going in my net.
Absolutely. And I mean, I assume a pretty simple question, but of course, you guys now control the number 1 seed, and you're up against Havana next week. How do you feel about that matchup?
I think we got it.
yeah.
I think I think we got it. We'll probably end 8-1, or yeah, 8-1 on the season. I think we sweep them.
And
What
Zach,
about you, Zach?
I was gonna say, Zach, you spent a very brief time with Havana, so is there anything there?
I mean, I never got a chance to play with them.
True.
I never got a chance to play with any of them, and I haven't played with Red guys since back in U3 days.
True.
So I have no clue where he's at or what's going on.
Fair enough.
For
Fair
Bank
enough.
peeking though, he's been posting screenshots of him hitting like GC3, so we'll see how that goes.
He has been locked in for them. I'd say certainly the most. But I mean, that's about all I have for you guys. So congratulations on the big win, and good luck next week.
Thanks, Lago. Thanks for casting.
I guess the last thing, just before I wrap up, just thinking about it, likely for the second seed, assuming you guys win, there is going to be Hanoi versus Lincoln next week. Who do you have for that matchup?
Ooh, if Hanoi have the same trust issues they had today, give me sense. If they actually trust, if Halio and Latimos trust each other, then I think it'll be a lot closer. I'm still gonna go sense.
Fair.
I think we exposed the Hydras weaknesses enough. If Jay or you or Kilo does a VOD review of this game, you can kind of see what those weaknesses were. Capitalize off of them.
Fair enough. Well, I think that's well and truly all I have then. So congratulations again.
Thanks, Lago.
Yeah, Pitt. Zach's mic a little bit does that, I guess. Can't decide if it wants to be loud or quiet, but all good. As that was certainly a big win for Chicago. Again, what that means for seeding is that Chicago now controlled the number one, that if they win, they get it. If they lose, they're guaranteed to be second. And then on the other side, Lincoln Hanoi, the winner is guaranteed top two, that if Chicago lose, they get first. If Chicago win, they get second. And the loser will be third place. And we'll have to play the first team into the playoffs. Likely Santa Carla, maybe New York or Calgary. But again, we'll see. As that is where we'll leave it for now. To answer Kellen from earlier, the bracket is exactly as you might remember from past seasons. It's a typical single elimination bracket. 1 versus 8, 4 versus 5, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6. The caveat, or I guess the addition to that, is there's the play-in, which is 7 versus 10. Winner gets the 7th seed. And then 8 versus 9, winner gets the 8th seed. And so you can put together yourself how that matches up. You can put together where teams will end up. Probably, I mean, once the bracket is decided, I will get it posted in the standings channels. And so, yeah. Now, obviously, it is something to think about that the play-in is that direct. Like 7 versus 10 is for the 7 seed instead of, for example, higher seed that wins gets 7, meaning that if the 10 seed win, they'd be 8, or like a choice of opponent thing. But that's how it is. It's simple. We're going simple. We're going very straight up. So again, we'll be talking about matchups. We'll be talking about seeding, all of that. And if you want to look at it yourself, you can do that. Otherwise, I'll post it when it's decided. And then to answer Reborn, there is going to be one more series tonight. However, it's not until 10 p.m. And that is one that likely to be a bit more one-sided, possibly, as Madison will take on Denver. But it certainly matters for the playoff chase, because if Madison win it, all 6 teams are locked in, and then it just comes down to seeding. But we'll find out all that later tonight as your final score here one last time. Chicago 3, Hanoi 0. That's just when they scheduled it. But a big win here for Chicago. And so we'll see you back later on tonight to wrap up week 8.